February 17th, 2003, 7:30 a.m. The Antwerp Diamond Center. Security arrives for their morning routine, but something is wrong. The vault door is open. This should be impossible. 10 layers of security, motion detectors, heat sensors, magnetic fields, seismic alarms, all defeated. 123 safe deposit boxes ripped apart. Diamonds, gold and jewelry worth over $100 million gone. The media would call it the heist of the century, but the thieves made one mistake, one tiny error that would unravel the most sophisticated robbery in history. This is the story of how a genius became a ghost and how a sandwich brought him down. To understand this heist, you need to understand Antwerp. Nestled in Belgium, Antwerp is the diamond capital of the world. 80% of all rough diamonds pass through this single city. We're talking billions of dollars in stones, moving through a few square blocks every single day. At the heart of this glittering empire stands the Antwerp Diamond Center, a 12-story building housing over 1,500 diamond merchants. But the real treasure lies beneath the surface. 2 floors below ground, behind concrete walls 3 feet thick, sits Vault Room number 3. This isn't just any vault. This is a fortress designed by security experts who thought of everything. Layer 1. A steel door weighing multiple tons, sealed by a lock with 100 million possible combinations. Layer 2. Heat detectors calibrated to sense body temperature changes. Layer 3. Motion sensors covering every inch of space. Layer 4. Light-sensitive detectors that react to the smallest beam disruption. Layer 5. Seismic sensors embedded in the floor detecting vibrations. Layer 6. Magnetic sensors on the vault door. Layer 7. A locked gate before the vault door itself. Layer 8. Security cameras monitoring 24/7. Layer 9. Armed guards and regular patrols. Layer 10. The Diamond District's private security force. The security experts said it was impenetrable, but they were wrong. His name was Leonardo Notarbartolo. On paper, he was just another diamond merchant, Italian, well-dressed, perfectly polite. He rented an office in the Diamond Center. He did business. He seemed normal. But Leonardo Notarbartolo was anything but normal. He was a professional thief with decades of experience, and he had just pulled off the impossible, renting an office inside his own target. For 3 years, from 2000 to 2003, Notarbartolo played the perfect role. He arrived on time. He made small talk with neighbors. He became a trusted face in a community built on trust. But every moment was reconnaissance. Every coffee break was a chance to study guard patterns. Every friendly conversation was intelligence gathering. He was mapping the fortress from the inside. Notarbartolo knew he couldn't do this alone. He needed a team, the best in the world. The genius, the king of keys, the monster, the driver, and others, professionals, ghosts, people whose real names we may never know. Together, they began planning what seemed impossible, but they had something no one expected. They had a key, a master key that could access areas of the Diamond Center most people didn't even know existed. How Notarbartolo obtained it remains a mystery. Some say he made a copy during a legitimate visit. Others believe he had an inside contact. Whatever the truth, this key was their golden ticket, their way in. But getting in was only step 1. The heist was scheduled for the weekend of February 15th, 2003, a 3-day holiday weekend when the building would be nearly empty. Notarbartolo and his team had mere hours to defeat 10 layers of security that were supposed to be unbeatable. Notarbartolo's rented office gave him legitimate 24/7 access. The guards saw him enter. Nothing unusual, just another merchant working late. The security genius on the team had spent months studying the camera system. He brought a device custom-built that could loop camera footage. To anyone watching the monitors, the hallways looked empty. In reality, the thieves were moving freely. The king of keys went to work. These weren't ordinary locks, but he wasn't an ordinary locksmith. 3 minutes. The gate swung open. Now came the real challenge, the vault door itself. A lock with 100 million possible combinations. This should have stopped them, but they'd prepared for this moment. One of the team members had been trained to feel the microscopic movements inside a lock. The tiny clicks, the subtle resistances that most people couldn't detect. It took hours. Patient, methodical work. 6 hours of turning, listening, feeling. But eventually,
They were inside, but they still faced heat sensors, motion detectors, light sensors, and seismic detectors. Any one of these should have triggered an alarm. The team came prepared with an arsenal of tricks: hairspray to coat light sensors, styrofoam panels to block heat detectors, each movement calculated, each step precise. They created a path, a narrow corridor through the sensor field where they could move without detection. It was like dancing through lasers in a spy movie, except this was real. One mistake and alarms would blare throughout the building. And the seismic sensors, the floor sensors, designed to detect even the lightest footstep, they wrapped their feet, moved slowly, distributed their weight. It was exhausting, excruciating work. But it worked. Now they faced 160 safe deposit boxes. They couldn't take them all. No time. So they'd planned which boxes to target: the ones belonging to the wealthiest merchants, the ones most likely to contain the biggest scores. 123 boxes. They used specialized drills, quiet but powerful. Each box took minutes to breach. Inside, diamonds by the handful, gold bars, cash in multiple currencies, rare jewelry. It was more than they'd even hoped for. They filled bags, large duffel bags, more and more treasure. But time was running out. Sunrise was approaching. They grabbed what they could carry and prepared to leave. The same careful path back through the sensors, closing the gate, making sure everything looked undisturbed. And then they walked out, just like that, past the guards, into the pre-dawn darkness. With over $100 million in stolen goods, they'd done it, the impossible heist. And for a moment, they must have felt invincible. But they'd made one critical error. An error so simple, it seems almost impossible to believe. Monday, February 17th, security arrived for their morning routine. The vault door was ajar. Immediately they knew. The alarm went out. Within minutes, police swarmed the building. What they found shocked them. 123 safe deposit boxes destroyed. Over $100 million in valuables stolen. And somehow, impossibly, the security system had been defeated. But the thieves hadn't left much behind. No fingerprints, no DNA, no clear evidence. The investigation seemed hopeless. How do you catch ghosts? Security footage from outside the Diamond Center showed Notar Bartolo entering the building that weekend. He'd been seen, not in the vault, but in the building. Notar Bartolo became a person of interest. Police began surveillance. They tracked his movements, his phone calls, his associates, and they waited. Weeks went by. Then in late February, police got a tip. A forest ranger had found something strange near a highway outside Antwerp. Garbage. Bags of garbage dumped in the woods. Not unusual, except for what was inside. Diamond dust. Tiny fragments of gemstones. Receipts from the Diamond Center. Security videotapes. And most damning of all, DNA evidence. A half-eaten sandwich, still wrapped in Italian deli paper, with saliva on it, saliva that contained DNA. The team had stopped for food during their escape, and in their rush to dispose of evidence, they dumped everything together, including someone's lunch. It was the kind of mistake you make when you're exhausted, when you've just pulled off the heist of the century and all you want is to get home. One tiny moment of carelessness. One sandwich. The DNA was run through databases, and it matched. Leonardo Notar Bartolo. Now police had their mastermind. They moved fast. February 2003, coordinated raids across Belgium and Italy. Notar Bartolo was arrested. The King of Keys was arrested. Other members of the team were rounded up. But there was a problem. While police had the thieves, they didn't have the diamonds. Over $100 million in gemstones had vanished, and the thieves weren't talking. The trial began in 2005. Prosecutors laid out their case. The evidence was overwhelming: DNA, surveillance footage, Tools found in Notarbartolo's possession that match marks on the safe deposit boxes. Notarbartolo's defense? He claimed he was set up, that he'd been hired by someone else, someone he called the boss, to help with the heist. He was just a pawn, he said, following orders. He spun an elaborate story. This mysterious boss had approached him years earlier, had funded everything, had planned everything. Notarbartolo was just the inside man, he claimed, not the mastermind. The prosecution wasn't buying it. If there was a boss, where was he? Why hadn't Notarbartolo given up his name? And if he was just following orders, why was his DNA at the crime scene? Why were the plans found in his office? The jury found Notarbartolo and his co-conspirators guilty. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Others received similar sentences. Justice, it seemed, had been served. But the central question remained unanswered. Where were the diamonds? Police had recovered some jewelry, some gold. But the vast majority of the haul, the diamonds worth tens of millions of dollars, were gone, vanished, never recovered. Were they sold immediately, moved out of the country, hidden in a location known only to the thieves? Or had Notarbartolo been telling the truth about a mysterious boss who took everything? The insurance companies paid out massive claims. The victims, diamond merchants who'd lost life savings, were devastated. Many never fully recovered financially. Some businesses closed. Lives were ruined. The Diamond Center completely overhauled its security. New systems, new protocols. What was once considered impenetrable was now considered vulnerable. If Notarbartolo could do it, others might try. Notarbartolo served his sentence. He was released in 2009. And when he got out, he did something unexpected. He started talking. Not about where the diamonds were, but about how he did it. He gave interviews, detailed explanations of his techniques. He seemed almost proud of the accomplishment. In one interview, he admitted his mistake, the garbage, the DNA. He said they'd been so focused on the heist itself that they hadn't planned the disposal carefully enough. Exhaustion had made them sloppy. But about the diamonds? About the boss? He remained vague. Hints and suggestions, but nothing concrete. Today, more than 20 years later, the Antwerp Diamond Heist remains legendary in the criminal underworld. Security experts study it. Future thieves admire it. It's taught in law enforcement training as an example of sophisticated planning, but it's also taught as a cautionary tale. Even the most brilliant criminal plan can be undone by the smallest oversight. A sandwich. That's what brought down the heist of the century. The diamond trade in Antwerp continued. The industry adapted. But the heist left scars. Modern diamond centers now use biometric scanning, AI-powered surveillance, and security measures Notarbartolo never faced. Each new system designed with his techniques in mind. He forced an entire industry to evolve. As for Leonardo Notarbartolo, he lives quietly now, reportedly in Italy. Some say he's wealthy, living off hidden portions of the score. Others say he's broke, that the mysterious boss took everything and left him with nothing. The diamonds? They could be anywhere. Cut and resold long ago, impossible to trace. Or perhaps buried somewhere, waiting. A treasure worth tens of millions, hidden so well that even the police with all their resources couldn't find it. What we know for certain is this. On one winter weekend in 2003, a team of thieves accomplished what everyone said was impossible. They defeated every security measure. They cracked the uncrackable vault. They walked away with a fortune, and they would have gotten away with it completely if not for one half-eaten sandwich. The Antwerp Diamond Heist, the heist of the century. Perfect in execution, undone by a moment of human carelessness, a reminder that in the end, we're all just human, and humans make mistakes.